Hey there! In this video I'm going to be showing how you can make an epic looking beach with lots of details inspired by some of the beaches in southern England. So let's get right into it. As you can see right now I'm just adding some sandstone and sand on top of that to make the foundation of the beach. And then I'll start carving it out, and then we can just repeat this so we can get a base to then add all our interesting details on to bring it to life. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a raised stone walkway at the back so that of course people can walk along the beach without getting all sandy. Now this is going to be raised to protect it from the tides and the waves, and then we can put the beach huts on it afterwards. As you can see, I've put it on an angle as well that will add some interest, and I'm using a mixture of stone and andesite and the occasional stairs to get onto the walkway. For the actual pavement itself, I've used light grey concrete powder as it has a nice gritty texture and contrasts with the stone. As you might have noticed, I've pushed the last layer of sand back more towards the pavement so that it gives the impression that the sea's kind of washed it up against the wall, which to me just adds that little touch of realism which I like. Next up on the list is the beach huts. Now I'm starting with the wooden platform that they're going to sit on, and they're going to be small beach huts. So first let's try 4 wide beach huts, but as you can see there's a problem with the roof and it makes it a bit awkward. It's too small to have an overhang, so let's go for 3 blocks wide, which would be 3 meters in real life, which is I think about the right size for just a small shed for storing some beachside equipment. And so I'm going to do them in blocks of 3s with different sort of blue turquoisey colours, so I've gone clay for the next one and white actually for the one after that, with alternating roof colours to separate them even though they're right next to each other. And so I've also done similarly with the wooden base, alternating between oak and jungle stairs. So now I've just continued the beach huts, sort of repeating them in the diagonal pattern following the stone pavement. Now we've done the beach huts, I'm going to move on to the groins, which are sort of lines of rock and stone that prevent the sand being washed away along the beach. So to do this, we are mixing up all the different stones, so cobblestone, stone, and the different varieties. So we've got stairs, slabs and walls. All of this makes this lovely rocky rubbly texture, and this is going to continue out to sea. And then at the end here we're going to add a pole with a lamp on top of it, and the purpose of this is so that at high tide you still know where the groin ends. Now for the light itself, using just a lantern would be too small, but a full block like a frog light would be too big. So what we're going to do is we're just going to place that lantern on top of an anvil. So now let's just copy it across and just edit some of the rubble a bit so it doesn't look exactly the same, and we've got another groin. So then we're going to copy this whole thing to make an entire beach. Let's do it. Now one detail that I think could really add some point of interest is a little stream going down to the beach. So we're just going to make it 1 block wide, but of course that looks a bit naff. So we're going to create the effect of wet sand by it by using the stripped birch log as like a darker tone. And then we can even use stripped oak log to go even darker towards the sea. Now the next thing we're going to do after we're finished with editing the shape of the beach is actually to add some life to the shores. Now the way we're going to do that is by populating the beach with some sunbeds and sunshades and things, and of course the very British windbreak using wall blocks. And then we're going to extend these all the way down the beach to really make it feel like it's proper a crowded summer's day. So we've got a whole variety of things to populate the beach. We've got carpets laid out, beds laid out, and some stairs for chairs. Now for the parasols, we're also going to use beds around a wall block of the same colour. And we're going to have the head of the bed in the middle so that it creates a striped-like effect, which I think is pretty neat. So now we've got a good looking beachfront, but it's lacking something behind the beach huts to really frame them. So what we're actually going to do next is to have a nice hill behind it that will really put it into context. A hill something like this, which we're now going to decorate with some leaves running up to make it look like they've grown up and down the hill. We're going to use a mixture of colours of leaves, so here I've got azalea and birch leaves. And then to fill in the gaps, we're just going to flood it with tall grass. And there you've kind of got a reasonable looking hill. Now on top of the hill, we can now add some custom birch trees, which are very tall and really create a nice backdrop to the scene. But before we finish, there's another detail on the beach I'd just like to add. A lifeguard tower. So we're going to make it kind of orange and white as in real life. And it's just going to be 3 blocks wide. So here I'm experimenting with walls and fence posts, as well as a small platform for the lifeguard to sit on and a ladder or staircase for them to get up and down on. So here's the final design I've come up with, and I think it really adds a lot of detail and life and realism to the beach. Then by the lifeguard tower I've just added some red and yellow flags which would indicate where you're allowed to swim on the beach. Now as a final touch, I'm just going to add the decking round the back of the beach huts to finish it off and polish the whole build. As you can see, I've also worked a bit on the top section here. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed watching me build this and have learnt some stuff along the way. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. It really helps me out. And thanks for watching. Also, I've separately uploaded a full time lapse of me building this if you're just interested. It's a very relaxing watch.